Is it fine, Gaurav? You're not audible.
Yes, sir.
Should I keep it or I'll share it? I'll share it.
As you wish, sir. Anubhuti, can we start with the session?
Sure, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Anubhuti Agrawal, welcome you all to the day 4 of 7 days online faculty development program organized by Jagar Lake City University, Bhopal and Deloitte Penal Group, Prayagraj, in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, a scheme under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, Ministry of Education, Government of India. Today, we have with us Dr. Ashwini Pant, sir. Before handing over this session to the sir, I would just brief about him. Dr. Ashwini Pant is working as an associate professor of law in School of Law, Oro University, Surat. He is a lawyer by qualification and a professor by a passion. He has demonstrated excellence in efficiency, productivity, and quality of his work in the capacity of teacher, program coordinator, and other administrative responsibility with his more than a decade of academic and research experience. Before joining Oro University, Surat, he had worked at Amity Law School, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida for 11 years. He hails from a hill station named Almora, Uttarakhand, and has done his schooling from there only. He did his legal bachelor's, LLB 3 years from Kuman University, Nainital in 2007, and a legal magister LLM from Law School Banaras Hindu University, Banarasi in 2010. He has qualified UGC NET exam with law subject twice. He has completed his PhD in law on efficacy of penal provision for protection of environment in Commonan Hills, a critical study from Amity Law School, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida, and has been awarded in 2021. He has a keen knowledge of criminal and procedural laws, environmental law, and constitutional law. His core research areas of interest are criminal law, environmental law, and sustainability. He has participated in and presented papers in more than 25 national and international seminars and conferences. He has published papers, more than 15 research papers in reputed journals, and contributed chapters to edited books, including Scopus Index journals as well. He has authored a book on clinical legal education. He has been associated with various environmental awareness and legal aid programs and has played a key role in the establishment of environmental law clinics at the institutional level under the aegis of Legal Aid and Awareness Society. He has conferred with the Abhinandan Distinguished Teacher Award 2018 by Rotary Club New Delhi and Best Teachers Award 2019 by Lions Club Noida on the occasion of Teachers' Day celebration. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anubhuti, for the nice introduction. And although it was I told you to have a brief introduction, but it's fine. And today I'll be talking with you all on a topic, although which is an important topic right now in the academic arena, as we all are teachers and we all are strive towards research, publication, academic thing and all. So that is becoming much and much more important in today's scenario. First of all, I would like to thank Deloitte Panel Group and Jagan Lake City for giving me an opportunity to speak with you all and to share my overview with regard to academic integrity and ethics, and that is being promoted in the contemporary era through various schemes that has been launched there by UGC and Government of India. And I will be discussing with you, the core area of discussion will be on UGC care and NEP 2020. So how these things, academic integrity and ethics, that is being inculcated through these two important programs that has been launched by UGC and Government. Let me just share my PPT with you and we'll start with the things. Is it visible? Gaurav, it is visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So my broad point of discussion, as I told you in today's session, will be on promotion of academic integrity and ethics through UGC Care NEP 2020 and over. So I'll be just overviewing the aspect that how academic integrity and ethics has been inculcated through these programs. If we see, my broad point of discussion will be, these are the broad point of discussion that will be through my talk. The background of this session, that what is the concept of academic integrity and ethics that is all about, and then what ethics and academic ethics is all about, fundamental values of the academic ethics, and then I'll switch over to the next thing that will be ethics infrastructure as a tool of constructing academic integrity, and how academic integrity is having an importance there in research and academia. Research, which is an integral part of academia. So promotion through how this academic integrity and ethics has been promoted through UGC Care, and so what are the important guiding principles that has been there in NEP 2020. And finally, I'll conclude. So although NEP 2020, where the important thing which is there, that legal education has been moved out of, and that is moving to the Bar Council and all. But still, there are certain things, ethical things that has been inculcated under NEP 2020 regarding a legal thing. So if we go by that, what is the importance of education? I'll just quote Kofi Annan, who was the 7th Secretary General of United Nations Organization. He said, knowledge is the power. Knowledge is power, and information is liberating. And education is the premise of progress. And in every society, in every family. So he laid down the stress over that, what is the importance of education, and at the same time, how education will be an important tool for liberating people's thought and the information, and how the society will progress through education knowledge. Because we are all when we all were living alone in jungles and all, so at that time there was no requirement of law or education, there was no conception. It is basically that when we started moving into civilization, then only the importance of education. So in the starting, although it was just an informational facts that were being gathered by some of the important peoples who were there, but later on it has been converted to a piece of knowledge that is there with the people, that is required for living a life in a pattern. And if we relate education with ethics, education will not work without ethics as well. Because without ethics, so regulation basically that has been initiated with the coming of the civilization. And when people started living in a civilized society, then education was an important tool through which codification and ethic codes that has been generated here. So without ethics, man has no future, if you see. So everywhere, so ethics is not at all at one place. So if you see that how ethics has played an important role there. So very rigorously, if you see this with the scientific development and responsible efforts through various research and innovations that has been there, that are the need of the hour. And that is basically required for to resolve out the quest of truth and creating and presenting new authentic scientific information to contribute to socio-economic benefit for global community. So it is not only, it is basically the education that is there, which is playing an important role in transforming the whole society. And at the same time, without ethics as well, education won't work. So because education is an important aspect that leads to ethical codes and all. So if you see, so it is ethically, education basically, it improves upon, ethically improve the quality and the simultaneously prevent any academic misconduct and all. So that's this very important aspect, that education leads to rationality and ethical behavior, equity amongst all of us. So ethics determines the choices. Basically, ethics determines the choices of the individual, every individual here. So that is to say that mankind without them cannot be itself. Ethics determine the choices and the actions and suggest difficult priorities. So prioritize the things while doing while living in a society. Sometimes we prioritize the things and all. So if we go with what ethics and what academic ethics is all about, then you can see that ethics word has been generated. It is basically graduated from the word ethos. And you see, it is an underscore to ethic, the German word, Greek terminology, originally defined by Aristotle, which means science of morals. And when we learn the things, whether through philosophy, we see this thing, that how the old society, the natural law philosophy, has played an important role there in ancient time, in the starting phase of the civilization, where we used to believe that law or the codes or the morals, that all are there to regulate the human behavior while living in a society. You can see the two epic premises, the two epics that are there, the two epics, that Ramayana and Mahabharata, which we can see that how, which are the essence of the repositories of ethical and moral vigilance. How people, so Yudhishthira, who is being a role model basically with regard to ethical and moral reasonings and all. So whatever he does during his reign there, his actions were all ethical things, as accordingly ethical when we talk about. So ethical premises, basically it is nothing but it's a premise of allowed versus not allowed, to preserve a dynamic equilibrium in a society, in a system, everywhere where we go. So they are basically very ethos of the human life and endeavors. Now you see, when we talk about how ethics has played an important role, it is the education. So education is not just a preparation for the life, but life itself, which validates a crucial, indispensable coexistence of education and ethics together. And the two things that I have taken up through my talk today, NEP and UGC care, these are two important aspects that has been in the recent past in the academia, in the higher education, in the academia, in the education system, that are going to play an important role there to inculcate ethics and equity and other things into the education system, that will be important for taking care of ethical consideration in the coming future. So if we go by what academic ethics is all about, if we relate to academic ethics, it is nothing but it's a commitment. towards imparting a role in the education field. So we can't separate out separately that what ethics is all about. And when we see in academia, the research ethics and all, there are certain fundamental values, fundamental principles that regulates the ethics aspect. And academic integrity in itself is a part of ethics there. If you see the fundamental values related to academic ethics. So ethics word in itself is a broad line. It's a broader version, which in itself includes the academic integrity. So these are some of the important fundamental values that are part of academic ethics: integrity, honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, compliance, new professionalism. So these are some words, if you see, that how academic ethics is being regulated. Academic ethics is being regulated. So to regulate integrity in the academics, in the higher education, the education system there, we need to have academic integrity to regulate and to fix it. And now the question comes out, what is academic integrity? So academic integrity in itself, that says that allows the person what is right to do and what things are right. And honesty towards imparting knowledge and education, or imparting the values towards the other stakeholders. So in education system, everybody is stakeholder: student, teachers, parents, society. So there has to be a connection in the society in such a manner as that the education that is being given to one individual, imparted by one individual, that should have a reflection over the society and the societal progress. So unless these things are not reflecting through the education there, then societal progression is not to that level. So these are some fundamental, you can see the PPT, the slide there, which laid down some of the fundamental values that are required in academic ethics to inculcate, to preserve, to conserve academic ethics in education system. These are some of the important aspects that, or principles that you can say, that are required there to be there. And some of the infrastructure that is required here, that how in academic ethics, how academic ethics in higher education or school or educational institutions, how academic integrity is being upholded. So it is upholding or affirmation that is being done through different codes, committees, counselors, training, auditing, hotlines. So legal aids are also. So there has to be some sort of overhauling that is required there. Overhauling that is required to regulate the human behavior in all respect of life. So if you see the academic integrity in research, now the main focus which is there on that how academic integrity is being promoted through UGC care, and also I'll highlight some of the point of UGC care. But before we move on to what academic integrity is and what academic integrity is and what academic research and ethics in academic research is all about. So if we see, every individual has got a personal integrity. Now personal integrity is what? It's an important human attribute which is significant in all sphere of life, which includes academic and research, which includes general, whatever you do in your life on day-to-day basis, whatever you do in your life, that all you do with certain integrity, where you don't compromise with the things, with your status, with your things. But at the same time, if you see, It is not a born quality. It is not inborn quality in human beings. It is being inculcated. The culture and the tradition that we are imbibed upon from the beginning. So personal integrity, it needs to be inculcated from childhood. And slowly, as the child grows up, it is required to be nurtured while education is being imparted to that child. And not only to be inculcated, not only the academic integrity is applicable not only to the educationist, but it is applicable to each and every stakeholder in the academic field, be it student, faculty, academic, administrator, everyone. So if we see the academic integrity from that point of view, the fundamental values that I discussed in the last slide, honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, all these are part of academic integrity as well. So when we are dealing with academic work, then we call it as academic integrity. So academic integrity, there are the fundamental values which are there. So academic integrity is nothing but it means giving credit where the credit is due. So if just suppose an example, I have worked on some research and I have written a paper. So a due credit, if somebody is writing a paper and taking something from my paper, then it is the credit that is required to be given to me by that author. This is academic integrity. And in research, generally, it's a broad term that is to be discussed upon. But when we say the importance of academic integrity in research is something that you have, something which is already disclosed to the public at large, and something which is undisclosed even out of whatever has been discovered till date. Some portion which is undisclosed, if you are disclosing it through your research, so that is particularly a research. Research is something that what you are researching in already researched or already discovered thing. Or there may be a new research as well. But apart from generally in social sciences and humanities, what we see, we analyze and we interpret things in a new way. That is new research. So if you see that nowadays, fabrication, falsification, plagiarism, all these are part of dishonesty, academic dishonesty that is being taken up by people in the academia. So mostly if you see that generally most of the people, they think that ethics as a rule to distinguish between right and wrong. So what is ethics basically in a broader term? We see there is a difference. There is a thin line of difference that what is right and what is wrong. So ethical codes, we as a lawyer, we have got certain ethical standard codes, ethical standard that are required to be followed there while professing our profession. So ethical standard, basically ethical codes, they are also considered as moral codes. Although sometimes codes has been codified and codes are there to regulate the human behavior and all. So most often when we see ethics refers to the rules that are guide to doing the right thing, although what the right thing is remains relative to the context. Regarding this, I'll give you one example. In a recent judgment of Supreme Court of India, where abortion rights has been extended now to women who is not married. Earlier on, that was only given to women who is married. Although there are contextual considerations, that is required to be followed what guidelines has been given by Supreme Court earlier on. That is there. So you see, abortion may be wrong or right. May be wrong or right. While there may be certain legal frameworks. So it may be ethical, it may be unethical as well. Now, if you see, according to the legal framework, if it is up to 12 weeks, then fine. If it is with the consent of the woman, then it is fine. So legal framework is there that may allow or may not. But the same legal framework also says that if it is done after 12 weeks and up to 20 weeks, then there is the requirement of two doctors who has to consent, who has to give their opinion, and consent has to be taken up by the wife, the woman, the mother, and the husband as well. So these are certain conditions. So contextual, what I told you, that ethics is something that ethic refers to the rules that guide. Ethic refers to the rule that guide to doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, although what the right thing is, remains relative. So it remains relative. That's why Supreme Court later on interpreted the things that although Nikita Mehta case was there earlier on, that where abortion was not at all allowed beyond 20 weeks. But later on, Supreme Court gave a guideline there to allow abortion beyond 20 weeks as well, but in certain circumstances. So this, if we see that what ethics is, it may be defined as a method, a procedure, or a perspective for deciding how to act, right? How to act and analyze the complex problem. Analyze the complex problem, and which are at the same time, you see, the legal framework which I told you, that where there may be legal frameworks, they may not be same as ethical frameworks. They may not be same as ethical frameworks which are informal and subject to interpretation in the way the law is not. So ethical consideration that are not at all fixed. What is ethical for me, that might not be ethical for somebody else. So these are, so it changes as according to, you see, before coming up of this UGC care and all. If I give you an example of publication of the work in research journal, so there has been a, sorry. So if we see that how much important ethics and integrity that is required there in academia. So research ethics, basically, if you see, they are grounded on the principles. They are grounded in the principles and practice of science, actually. And research ethics, it may be defined as nothing but it is a codification of ethics of science in practice. So if you see that how far the ethics and the importance of ethics that is there in inculcating the academic integrity, upholding the academic integrity. So if you see that how this UGC care was established, and this is one way the establishment or an important code, you can say, it is for the promotion of academic integrity and ethics through this program, through this code of conduct that has been launched there by UGC, United University Grant Commission. And to help the Indian academic community to choose journals and the conferences that follow standard ethical policies, and to improve upon the quality of research publication. Quality of research publication enhances the academic integrity and publication ethics, and improve the quality of research in Indian university. So that was the major aim. The role basically, if you talk about UGC cure and all, to promote and benchmark the research integrity and ethics, to avoid the wide proliferations of predatory journals that were going on. Now, if you see, I just gave you an example through a report of UGC itself. In 2017, how rampant, I'll give you the data also, how rampant the predatory journals were going on, and the number has increased. In 2017, the number was around 4,000, and in just in 1 or 2, by 2020, it has increased to 13,000. So the number that has increased, you see, the journals that has increased over the period of the time, that showcase that it has become a business to run a journal, to ask for money for publication and all. So to avoid such proliferations and to have certain ethical standard in academia, so UGC CARE has come up. UGC CARE is the full form University Grant Commission, a consortium of academic research and ethics. It is well known. It is based upon well-known principle that is being followed there for quality management system by many of the regulators by the name of CAPA. In short form, we call it as CAPA. Corrective and preventive actions. To correct and take a preventive action before in hand. So to avoid that situation, to promote quality research, academic integrity, and publication ethics in Indian universities and higher education system, a management system that was applied there to see an empowered committee steers the entire activity of the CAPA on this UGC CARE and all. And over around 30 statutory councils who are in charge or affiliating bodies for different courses, statutory councils and government bodies across different disciplines. They have been invited. They were invited to be part of the consortium to identify, continuously monitor, and maintain a reference list of quality journals across disciplines. And it has done a very good job in weeding out many of the suspect publications. And the repeated public notices, gazette notifications, and circulars given by the institutions for sensitizing the researchers to the dangers of plagiarism, self-plagiarism, publishing in predatory journals, and unethical publishing practices that are there. So through UGC CARE, all these things has been an important part included and through this UGC CARE. And the moral principles that constitute the basis for ethics in research, if you see, the principle of malfeasance, beneficence, autonomy, justice. So all these are some of the important principles that are part of this academic ethics and all. So UGC CARE has come over the period of time, although there are 4 centers across in north, east, west, and south. There are 4 universities who have been given. A nodal university is UGC, this Savitribai Phule, Pune University, that has been given a task to revise and analyze the things and all. But at the same time, the 4 universities in the east side, Tejpur University, has been given the task of seeing and reviewing the journals in their area. In the Northeast, Bihar, Jharkhand, and all that are part, West Bengal, Jharkhand, they are all part of Eastern part. And Northern India, JNU has been given this task to see that academic integrity and research, academic integrity and ethics is being followed there in publication and all. Apart from this, Maharaja Sayaji Rao University in Baroda, that has been given, and apart from this, University of Hyderabad in South, that has been given this task there. So these are some of the principles and the moral principles that constitute the basic ethics in research. And apart from this, the universities has been given a task, specific universities has been given a task there to see the things. And if you go by another important promotion or another important program that was launched in 2020 by the government of India to have an overhauling in the education system. Overhauling in the education system. New Education Policy 2020 has come up. New Education Policy with the basic tenets of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability that I've just jotted down there, that these are the basic tenets upon which the whole new education policy has been based upon. And it reclaims what we have lost in the past by following the task, given to us by the English education system. What we have forgotten. Now it is being inculcated through new education policy, a holistic, a flexible and multidisciplinary approach. In the earlier time, if you take up an example, in the earlier time, we have that Gurukul Parampara, where if you take up the example of Mahabharata and Ramayana, so the student used to go to Gurukul. They used to learn each and everything there in the ashram. By living there in the ashram, they used to learn everything, every aspect of the life. So that was to be our multidisciplinary approach from the beginning, but we have lost it in between. So again, through new education, it's an approach, it's a way through which more holistic or flexible approach that has been proposed, that is required to be there in promoting the academic integrity and ethics there to have a good life. And the main thing that is there with the NEP 2020, which creates what we have right to do and what is right, what is the right thing to do. It introduces this aspect and it focuses on the education that must not build up the character of it. And over the period of the time, that what we have seen in the past, that we have been subject specific, more subject specific. We were producing students which are subject specific. They are, if just suppose an example, if I say, if somebody who is studying humanities, so he is good at humanities, but not good at engineering or medical or any other, he is not having know-how about those things. And if somebody who is studying engineering and medical, there is know-how, he is not knowing anything about humanities and social sciences. So the new education policy will be a blend of certain, it will be a blend of the important things that are the important subjects that every student or every person, individual should know to live life and to give back after having an education, to give it back to the society. So NEP is one such thing through which these things have been introduced. And if you see, it is not to build up the character, but it enables the ethical, rational, compassionate, and prepares them for gainful and fulfilling employment. So we are not making them the learner, but we are not building their character. We are not imbibing the knowledge to them, not information to them, but apart from information giving, we are preparing them to be a good citizen or to be an important part or important integral part of the society that where the person lives. And it introduces the highest quality, equity, integrity into the education system and inculcates social, ethical, emotional abilities from childhood onward. So NEP is not for higher education only, but NEP is there for the education system that is to be imbibed from the beginning, from the schooling itself. And there are certain principles that are there, roadmap that has been there, imbibed there in the policy, NEP policy there, in its roadmap for developing a good human being and citizens, which underscores the importance of the ethical moorings and values. So ethics and human and constitutional values are part of fundamental principles on which the entire education system that is built up. And some sort of responsibility that is being created amongst the individuals, and to integrate the curriculum integration that is there with subject like skills and capabilities, ethical and moral reasons that will be there, that are part of new education policy that is to be followed there. And at the same time, to provide value education system, to have more standardized or to have more strong value system that will make the individuals and citizens more responsible, not towards himself, but towards the society as well. At last, if we analyze the overview of both the academic integrity and ethics through NEP and UGC care, these are the programs that have been launched there by UGC and Government of India to see the ethical paradigms, traditional ethics, not only to inculcate, not only to see that how in the past, what ethics or traditions or the culture that we used to have, that we have missed out in between, that is required to be reinstated in our culture, in our education system again. And to see that the changing paradigm, in the contemporary world, to prepare them, prepare every individual through education system to be more responsible citizen and acknowledge the changes that are there with the science, technology, and other things that are making them more conservative and towards a slave of science and all. So not to make them a slave of science, but to acknowledge them that their usability, the science and technology, the usability of the science and technology in education system, and at the same time, the education system to be revived in such a way. So I'll stop here only. If somebody has got some questions, most welcome. And this is just an overview that what I have understood through my reading relating to UC care and or how academic integrity and ethics is being promoted through these programs. Thank you all of you for your patience listening.
If there are any questions from the participants, they can unmute themselves and ask the question.
Well, I believe there are not too much new questions, so I initiate on that part. Well, it's a very good thing that Dr. Ashwini actually has told us about the various aspects which are included in the national education policy, or rather we should say the new education policy. This NEP, of course, the emphasis is more on the local research, local languages also. So plenty of things has been talked about by the Dr. Ashwani. But at the same time, I believe that since most of us in this program are the faculty members who are working in the private organization. And in the private organizations, most of the time what happens that research ethics has been kept apart, because we have to work for the economic reasons also. So sometimes the compromises with the research is being seen, particularly in the case of the private universities. So what is your opinion, sir?
Thank you, sir, for the question. Dr. Vivek, thank you, sir. It is good to see you after a long time.
Yes, sir.
So as far as academic integrity and ethics in private institutions, if we say, although it's a question for all of us, but at the same time, as an individual, when we see that if as a profession, if we talk about academic profession, if we have moved into academic profession, there is some sort of integrity that we all have to maintain throughout when you are into this profession, because the culture that we are going to imbibe upon our students, that will make up the future of those students who are going to be into different arenas. But as far as private universities and institutions are concerned, the main question regard to academic integrity and ethics, although they have to follow the UGC norms, and because as a part of educational institutions, higher education institutions, they have to follow it. But compliance is also an important aspect, that it is not only upon us, but it is also upon the stakeholders from the other side, that they have to monitor it by rather saying it just on the paper. That should come on action as well. So my take on that thing is, action is still missing, that we all know, whichever field we go. So it's not all about private institution, but it is all about the other sphere of life also.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
So do we have any more questions? So proceeding to the end of the session, thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this faculty development program, which was jointly organized by Droid Penal Group, Prayagraj, and Jagran Lake City University, Bhopal, in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, which is a scheme under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, Ministry of Education. So on all the organizers' side, we thank you for being with us on a very short notice, and hope to see you again for other programs we organize in future. And For the participants, I would like to inform you all that all the technical sessions have been uploaded on my e-class. One. Second, we will be uploading the assignments by today evening, late evening. So the assignments will be there all till the time we had all the sessions, the assignment. And also we will be uploading some pre-recorded sessions of some professors. So you can connect with my e-class. If in case you have any problem with my e-class, we will have a session on Saturday tomorrow. We'll plan out a session so that whatever issues those who have while going through my e-class can resolve it. So thank you very much, participants, for being patient enough with us. And thank you so much, sir, for joining with us.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you.